what Mr. Wade indicated to the court. And after Ms. Willis moved into the condo in April of 2021, they appeared 35 times. Now, I want to make clear to the court, both Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade never denied that he had been to that condo before. The specific testimony that was elicited by Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade was that he had never laid his head, was the direct quote, at that condo, which these records don't prove that he laid his head anywhere. If you were to believe the analysis, or if you were to give credence to what the non-experts said.
Hello, everybody. So if you haven't heard already, the Fani Willis hearing, disqualification hearing, has finally come to an end. Today, March 1st, 2024. My son's birthday is in 4 days. He wants an e-bike and he's driving me crazy. I don't want to get him an e-bike. Okay, enough of that. But as you saw the title of this video, and maybe you saw by the thumbnail, you might be thinking, Nez, what in the world are you talking about? What just happened? What do you mean you think she's going to win? So I'm going to give you my reactions to what happened. Obviously, I don't want to scare anybody. There hasn't been an actual judgment yet. I'll tell you what the judge said. If you missed our live stream today, which was off the charts, I love you guys, Nez Nation. It was phenomenal. We had over 20,000 concurrent viewers at our peak. It was amazing. I love the chat. I love the conversation. You guys are amazing. You make my heart go like this, pump, and just be full of life. I love you guys. It was an amazing live stream. If you missed it, I will leave a link at the end, and I'll put it in the pinned comment and in the description and show notes. But we went live and covered the entire closing arguments today. And if you would have asked me before today, all of the, text messages that came to light, the text messages that basically, placed Fani and Nathan Wade as to having a relationship far longer, way before, they said under oath in the hearing. They said it started in 2022. You had Terrence Bradley, who had a very emphatic text exchange. I got a ton of videos on that. We went through every single text. It just was abundantly clear that he was lying, abundantly clear that he didn't want to, he didn't want to tell the truth. He's Dr. I don't recall. You had Yurdi's testimony last week, which, seemed pretty emphatic. I believed her 100%. I don't think she has any motive or incentive to be dishonest or deceptive or some kind of a ulterior motive. It didn't seem apparent to me at all. And then, culminates into this, absolute disaster of a performance by Fani Willis when she storms into the court, forces the judge to run out, and then just takes over the entire court and makes a mockery of justice, makes a mockery of protocol. I would have said, this is slam dunk. It's over. But then you got to understand that life is not like that. Then you got to understand that that's not how the criminal justice, that's not how justice, the system itself, is governed or even operates. And I'm going to show you a couple of clips of some of the questions that I thought were really poignant and maybe an impediment towards the defense of getting Fani Willis disqualified. I'll tell you my thoughts on the closing arguments today. I thought the prosecution did abysmally. Urbati, whatever his name is, Mr. Weasel Voice. I don't know what happened to Anna Cross. I thought Anna Cross was amazing. I thought she was a million times better than Urbati. She wasn't there at all, which was really odd to me. She might have been there on Zoom. I couldn't 100% confirm that, but it just seemed really odd to me. Like, why wasn't she leading this? She had been leading most of the hearing, since its inception, since it started. Where was she today? Paging Miss Cross. Does anybody know where Miss Cross is? Is she missing? What's going on here? Is she ill? I don't know. I don't get it. Let me know in the comments what happened to Miss Cross if you know something that I don't, because I have no idea where she went. Her body did awful. I mean, he stumbled, he mumbled, he fumbled. The judge stumped him more than, a dozen times. Not a good look when you have to constantly be getting notes passed to you from your client saying, hey, you're missing this, or no, you need to go down this avenue. I mean, it was abundantly clear that her body was out of his element. He was flustered. The national attention had something to do with it. Maybe the cameras had something to do with it. It was awful. But I'm not so sure, with the exception of the pit bull, I'm not so sure that the defense did much better. I'm going to play you a clip right now of what I was talking about earlier about the judge asking pretty poignant questions that I think are the kind of questions that need connective tissue. And what do I mean by that? What's the connective tissue? It's not enough to prove that they had a relationship that was, let's say, dishonest to put it mildly. Okay. It's what you have to connect is, how does this relationship create a conflict of interest? I'm not so sure. And again, I'm not a legal expert, but I've done a lot of qualitative and quantitative research on this. And from what I understand, I don't think it's enough just to violate ethics, meaning violate under oath. That it should be enough, but I'm not so sure that it's going to be enough. I think the judge, remember, there's no jury here. This is all being decided by Judge McAfee. So there isn't a jury of 12 comprising of your peers who are making this judgment. It's just one man. It's one judge, and he has to weigh all the evidence. And the questions that he was asking and the responses he was getting from defense attorneys, specifically one of the co-defendant Michael Roman's attorneys. I love the pit bull. Steve Sadow is ferocious, and he is so good. He is a very accomplished attorney. He's very, very, he has exemplary skills and track record. And for some reason, Ashley Merchant did not. So we're missing Anna Cross and we're missing Ashley Merchant, even though Merchant was sitting right there. I'm not really quite sure why she didn't lead off. Did it have something to do with what I said in previous videos, especially with the Terrence Bradley testimony? Did it have something to do with the fact that I felt she kind of let her emotions get the best of her? And did this impact these closing arguments? Because this dude, I call him Kevin McCarthy lookalike. I don't even know his name. I don't even know if it matters. There's a billion attorneys. There's a billion defendants, it seems like. So I kind of lose track. I mean, I really just pay attention to the good ones. The good ones grab my attention, and Steve Sadow is, to me, the creme de la creme. I want to play this clip for you, and I want you to kind of, discuss what we see here. Check this out. This is the Kevin McCarthy lookalike attorney being grilled by Judge McAfee, talking about how Fani Willis had a personal interest, as well as some questionable summations of motive and connecting those dots. So let's take a look at this right now.
So that means if we show the court today, and I think we have through the proceedings today and before, that Ms. Willis has developed a very personal interest in this case, and Your Honor denies this motion, we're coming back all over again if the appellate court say you were wrong.
So what is that personal interest?
So the personal interest can be, there's no definition of that under Georgia law, and it could be a personal financial interest. It could be a personal interest related to bias against a particular defendant, sort of falls into the forensic misconduct box. But we have here a very personal financial interest that's been laid out in terms of money received by Ms. Willis as a result of the scheme that she set up. But to get to the issue of the personal interest in the context of an appearance, I think that's important. I do want to suggest to the court that there are a number of cases that post-date this actual conflict of interest language that's suggested in some of the cases from the 90s that you have to pay attention to what this looks like to the public. And we have a very personal interest. In the seminal United States court case that deals with, she's received a personal financial benefit of over $9,200 in this case that she can't account for, and the state can't account for. And the reason we can't account for it is because they came up with a cash theory. Cash theory only raises.
Before we get into that, let me ask you this. Let's say the theory wasn't even there, that they had paid it back or that there'd been any exchange. Should there first be a consideration of a materiality requirement?
No.
Have you seen that in this jurisdiction? It's not in this jurisdiction. Have you seen that in any other jurisdiction?
I haven't seen that, Judge. And if it was $6, that would still be improper.
Would it be improper where it's a per se disqualification if someone, buys their boss a stick of gum? Is that per se disqualifying because there's no materiality requirement? Well, no, I don't disagree that it may not meet a materiality requirement, but it's a personal benefit. I won't say that giving a pack of gum is just justification for disqualifying a district attorney. I think that's part of the issue, Judge. I think it's a fact-based inquiry by you. So there's a continuum involved here.
Yeah, but I think the continuum involves you looking at whether or not, in the grand scheme of things, it violates the Constitution, and whether or not there's an appearance of a conflict, and the appearance suggests that she actually received a benefit, and we know that she did. They admitted it. We don't have to speculate about that. They said that she said she got a benefit, and she said she paid back certain amounts. In that regard, Your Honor, I don't know, would $100 be enough? Would $200 be enough? I think you have to look at it globally and consider all of the witnesses, consider all of the facts, consider the credibility of the witnesses. Frankly,
Right.
I mean, Your Honor sat here and watched everybody, so I haven't spent a lot of time going into the specific testimony because Your Honor is well aware of it. But you get to evaluate the credibility of the witnesses.
Just from a legal perspective, though, you're saying we can't just say dollar amount, look no further. There has to be a totality of the circumstances analysis.
I think it's fact specific, Judge. I don't really want you to pin me down on that because there's no law on it. There's no paper trail here for the cash. I know that this was but there's no paper trail. There's no deposit history. There's no withdrawal history. There's no receipts. None of that. So even assuming their testimony could be credible, and we don't think that it is, you still don't have enough information to track all that money that she received. And this is just what.
But does the lack of evidence fall on the state? Does the lack of evidence fall on the state? Isn't that where burdens come in?
So, it kind of goes on and on. I don't want to kind of bore you with too much of the clip, but you could hear the judge saying, well, you're asking for, the burden of proof to be on the state, but isn't that, is that the state's responsibility? Yes, there's no paper trail. Yes, there may be all these things that you're claiming as far as gifts, as far as, taking advantage of financial transactions, financial infractions of the law, et cetera, et cetera. But isn't that the burden of the defense to, provide that? That's what you're basically trying to prove that they did wrong. It's up to you to come up with that burden of proof. And then, he says all this stuff like, well, you just know it when you feel it when you know it, or you know it when you feel it. And it's just like, wait, what? And so, I just get the feeling that, and I'm going to share more videos too, especially with the Pitbull. You got to stay tuned because the Pitbull did an amazing job. But again, there was no accusation or accusatory language that Fani Willis, there wasn't anything explicit. I was kind of surprised that there was nothing explicit saying Nathan Wade and Fani Willis lied. They lied. They just flat out lied. That is a violation of ethics. That's a violation on this count, that count, et cetera, et cetera. It just seemed to me, there was barely any even mention of Terrence Bradley's testimony. What about the phone records? And so I just get this funny feeling, and I hope I'm wrong, I get this funny feeling that Fani Willis is going to actually, she's going to be just fine. She's not going to have any issues, and she's not going to get disqualified. Which, you know, suffice it to say, the court of public opinion and all of the hoopla and her egregious unprofessionalism is enough, hopefully, that she even recuses herself if Judge McAfee doesn't disqualify her or dismiss the case. This case has got, I mean, it's got a dark blot all over it. It's got, I don't know anybody who's going to, I mean, let's say she gets dismissed from the case. What DA is going to, this is a hot mess. What DA is going to want to pick this up? Oh, I'll take it. You're going to get national attention. You're going to be feeling the reverberations and the repercussions of this debacle. That's going to haunt and basically shadow you the entire, at least until you can prove any otherwise. It's going to shadow you right from the start, haunt you right from the start. I can't think of anybody who's going to take this. But I don't think anything's going to happen to Fani. I think a lot of people thought she should get disbarred. I think a lot of people, more than just disqualified, more than just dismissed, a lot of people thought she should face criminal charges, lying under oath, prison time even maybe. I don't know. I mean, to me, she's rotten to the core. There's no doubt in any fiber of my being that she is rotten to the core. There's nothing about her that says, I care for my constituents. I care for the people of the Fulton County. I care for law and due process. I care for ethics. There's nothing about her that says that. But I just get this feeling, even as bad as her body did, even as bad as Fani Willis's lawyers did, etc., the questions posed by Judge McAfee, is it enough just to, where is the conflict of interest? Two people who engage in a relationship, yeah, maybe they were dishonest about the timing, etc., but two colleagues, two adults engaging in consenting relations, either they be romantic, what have you, sexual, doesn't matter. I don't know if that's enough to break this. I don't know if this is enough to get her disbarred or even disqualified. So that's just my feeling. We don't know anything yet. Okay, the judge has said this. The judge says, I'm going to make my decision. Obviously, he didn't do it today. He said it within 2 weeks. He hopes to make a decision. Remember, there's no trial by jury. There's no jury of peers. So he's going to have to weigh all the options and weigh all the evidence and come up with his own decision. But here's the big one. I want to throw this off to you. What do you guys think? Did you watch the trial? I'm going to leave a link to our live stream if you haven't, but did you watch it? What did you think of Kevin McCarthy wannabe performance? What did you think of the Pitbull Sadow? What did you think of the other attorneys? McDougal is getting a lot of praise that he did really, really well. What did you think of Urbati the Weasel? Why was Anna Cross not there? I want to hear from you. I love listening and replying as best as I can to your comments. So please leave a comment. Let me know down below. If you made it this far, as always, make sure you sign up for our free newsletter in the pinned comment and in the description and show notes. It's absolutely free. It's your sure-proof way of never missing out on breaking news, live updates, top stories, new videos, new live streams. I don't want you to miss anything. Because even if you're subscribed or you hit the bell notification, you don't always get notified. Plus, YouTube's probably going to delete this channel because I am talking about things legacy media won't touch, mainstream media won't touch. Why? Because it's the truth and because it's, going to get the powers that be, the establishment, the swamp. It's going to get them in a lot of trouble. And so it's really imperative that you get on our email, our newsletter list, so you don't miss anything. As always, check out these videos. I'll leave a link. Here's the live stream right here that we did. You got to check that out. Here's another great video right here. As always, God bless you, your family. God bless these United States of America, and I'll see you soon.